Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to our final best of 3 of Group A. It's LGD China versus Rattlesnake Gaming, and oh, what a series of possibilities we have before us. If Rattlesnake win this match, they are first place in Group A, LGD will be 4th, and LGD will be eliminated. If LGD China wins this series, then Orange are going to be first place in the group, Rattlesnake will be 4th, and LGD International will advance. So if you're an LGD International fan, you best be rooting for their Chinese brothers. Of course, if you're not, then you should be rooting for Rattlesnake, but I think most of the viewers probably are going to be some fans of LGD International. I'm LDFB on the Summit. I'm joined here by Winter. And Winter, this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup, to say the least.
Yeah, the fate of their brothers are in their hands right now.
That's a lot of pressure. But Xiao is actually, well, first of all, he's not doing the drafting. I don't know if that's just what seed he's in, but aside from that, Xiao is sort of looked to as the big brother for LGD China in a lot of ways, and the manager Nicholas actually talked about that in a recent interview. So Big Brother had better fulfill his responsibilities today. I imagine that the LGD International squad is saying, come on, Xiao, and Xiao we trust, and Xiao we trust. That has to be the mantra.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised as well he's not in the drafting seat anymore, but I think it's time for them probably to have changes in their Piro pools and stuff like that. And Long DD has been a drafter for DK for quite some time as well.
Yeah, it's not like he's totally new to it. He's a very experienced player in the Chinese scene, but I mean, when you look at Xiao as far as captains in the Chinese scene go, I think he's the closest to sort of an iron-fisted ruler and out of the top 4 teams. And I mean, you can look at DK and Burning, the way the team plays completely revolves around him, or at least it has. But from everything that I've heard and read about LGD China, the command structure with the team is Xiao makes all the calls late game. He's pretty much a dictator, and he's been a very effective dictator, a benevolent one at times. But recently, you're right, they just haven't lived up to the potential of the team in some ways. And it's not like they're losing to bad teams, but LGD China, they want to make it to the LAN finals. They have some stiff competition here in Rattlesnake, and then even if they get through this match, they will have to beat the second place team from Group B, which is going to be either IG or Zenith, and that is not an easy order.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult from here, but they have to win their game regardless.
Yeah, it's focus on the one you have now. And for Rattlesnake, they go with Clockwork Darkseer. Are we going to see that dual lane we saw before? What do you make of this? They pick up 3 teamfight initiating specialists in the first 3 picks. They don't go for any of the carries. They pass on the Shadow Demon and the Rubik. Rattlesnake just sticking to their style, and they get the Kabu Clockwork, which might be the big thing for a lot of the viewers.
Yeah, and there's also one thing I've seen them do before. Bat Rider plus Darkseer in one lane, since the Clockwork can be run as a solo mid.
Yeah, they're very versatile. They have 2 heroes that can go into the jungle, the Darkseer, the Bat Rider. Since it's Rattlesnake, we should also mention they can dual lane the Darkseer and the Clockwork, even though you would never expect that from other teams. Rattlesnake have done it, and they've done it very effectively at that. And of course, any of these heroes can solo.
Darkseer plus Bat Rider. So
have
I think it might have. Yeah,
really?
Darkseer plus Bat Rider in one lane.
We just need to get the Clockwork in there as well, and then we'll be all set. try lane Bat, Darkseer, Clockwork. Then I really will have seen everything.
Well, I think there's still a chance that Darkseer will lane with Clockwork because it's Rattlesnake. Bat Rider could probably be just doing the jungling or solo mid.
They have a lot of options, and I guess the one interesting thing will be to see what kind of carry Rattlesnake goes for, because they have not been picking many hard carries this game. On the side of LGD China, not much team fight to speak of, but a lot of ganky potential, a lot of burst damage. A game where if Bat Rider gets an early blink, Queen of Pain could be very unhappy, but if Queen of Pain has a good start, Leicester, Queen of Pain can infest each other and go find some easy kills around the map. Heroes like Bat Rider, Darkseer, Clockwork seem very tanky, but if you get an early Orchid on the Queen of Pain, that's not necessarily the case.
Lifestealer, Shadow Demon plus Queen of Pain. There's a very strong laning presence in the 3 of these heroes. They can put a lot of pressure in the lanes from the early 10 minutes.
It's really your more sort of traditional opening. We'd see something similar from this from a lot of teams. The Queen of Pain is the one hero that, frankly, we haven't seen much of lately. Certainly not from LGD China. And I assume it would probably still be something Xiao plays, but maybe we're even looking at Xiao back in the off lane, and then Yao going mid as the Queen of Pain.
I can't remember who's the one who
10
plays it on
seconds
LGD.
remaining.
Generally, it seems like Xiao 8 plays the more aggressive mid heroes,
5
but
seconds remaining.
I mean, Sylar plays Invoker, and he seems like he plays some of those ranged mid controllers, and I don't feel like they're Xiao 8's specialty. At the end of the day, I think we saw his Templar Assassin a few months back, and while it wasn't bad by any means, it didn't feel like it was really his hero, the way that the Beastmaster can be.
It's not a dictator-like hero.
That's right. It's a diplomat. The Queen of Pain, she's got to weave her way in and out of the fight. She can't just knock down the door and take your money, take your towers, take your babies. You have to be a little more subtle with that one. As for Rattlesnake, well, they have all the options in the world. They'll go for the Morphling, and they'll do it with the 4th pick. Something you could have waited for to the last pick if you'd like, but hey, only 2 to go. Morphling it is. And LGD, they don't even think about it. They just go straight Silencer.
Learning from their brothers, huh?
Yeah. Well, they have 2 potential Orchid carriers in the Queen of Pain and the Lifestealer. They have the Global Silence. They have the Silence from the Silencer Disarm, or the Last Word. And then you have Shadow Demon, who's pretty good against illusion-based heroes. So if there was ever a game where you could hope to shut down a Morphling, short of having any actual stuns, which, oh, by the way, they have 0, this is probably the closest you can get.
Yeah, they have 0 stuns, like what you mentioned, and having those counters to the illusion-based heroes won't be necessarily effective if you don't have any stuns at all.
Yeah, what are they going to do for that last pick? I imagine, well, I was going to say Alina or Leshrac, but those are banned, of course. It could be a support Silencer, in which case they would need another farmer, so Queen of Pain probably going mid. If it's a support Silencer, he's not really good in the tri-lane, so that would force them to defensive tri-lane pretty much. If they want to go aggressive, it could be Silencer mid, Queen of Pain safe lane, and then Lifesteal Shadow Demon +1 in the off lane. But if you do that, who is your 3rd hero going to be? Because the obvious combos are gone. And yeah, Crystal Maiden.
Crystal Maiden plus Morphing, something long forgotten. It's a very strong dueling.
It's an ancient recipe. They're dusting off all the old tricks, Winter.
Sometimes you need the old tricks to beat the new tricks.
Yeah,
the long forgotten ones.
Yeah, Dota really does come full circle in that way. You know, the things that used to be super effective, they fall out of style, they stop working, and then a forgotten hero emerges. Even if he hasn't been touched, sometimes heroes just stop seeing play, and they haven't been nerfed or buffed in any way. The game just kind of passes them by. Crystal Maiden is a hero that it seemed like the game has passed by. Morphling is a hero, well, he got nerfed. He got nerfed directly. He got that buff, of course, with his cast animation being a bit lower now than what it used to be before all the nerfs, but overall, he's still been nerfed. And CM, a hero that's just been kind of passed by and forgotten about.
She got buffed, actually, the aura. Gives herself twice as much as mana regen as his teammates.
That's a good point. DK.
Silencer support.
No, Xiao 8. Was Xiao 8 back on support? This has to be this is a role switch.
I think it's gonna be aggressive tri-lane, Shadow Demon, Lifestealer, and Silencer. DK will be middle, Queen of Pain on the safe lane.
It's an annoying tri-lane. Doesn't have the best killing potential, but before we talk more about that, Winter, let's introduce the teams. On the side of LGD China, we have Yao playing the tri-lane Lifestealer from the looks of things. Xiao 8 going to be on that support Silencer. Man, this reminds me of the first G1 League season when they were changing all the roles, but that was during group stage play. Long DD on the Shadow Demon. We have DDC playing the solo mid Queen of Pain and Sylar, or no, sorry, safe lane Queen of Pain from the looks of it, and Sylar probably going to be playing that solo mid DK. Looks like Sylar is rushing a bottle, so a lot of role switches here for LGD.
And for Rattlesnake, we have IC on the Morphling, Lamb on the Crystal Maiden. Kabu is going to be the solo mid Clockwork. Oh, it's the Bat Rider and Darkseid going to be at the top lane together. Bat Rider is played by Luo, he got a boots from the start, and Darkseid is played by SAG.
Yeah, started with the boots, so it definitely could just be jungling from level 1, but we'll have to wait and see.
It's a Rattlesnake, you never know.
Yeah, could be a level 1 ganky Bat Rider. Limited, if he gets a haste run, suddenly he's devastating. Otherwise, not so much.
I think that they're going to just block the creeps from behind with the Darkseid and the Firefly from the Bat Rider for the top lane. Probably they would do that.
Or maybe they're expecting this aggressive tri-lane and just thinking, hey, we'll just jungle in the enemy jungle.
They're changing lanes. Dragon Knight just bought a Stout Shield and extra Tango, and he's going to head to top lane. Queen of Pain is going to go mid.
Well, Luo going to be hiding in the trees here for the moment.
They're moving. Shadow Demon and Silencer is moving as well. I think they know they're going to do a dual lane at top.
Oh my god, they're painting him! They're painting him!
If he doesn't run, he's dead.
He's got Firefly and he's got Boots. Should be okay. Should be, but he's going to run into a disruption here. No.
He's fine,
Yeah. Making me nervous, Luo. Off the bat, the creeps have spawned, so he's driven out of the enemy jungle. As for LGD China, they're going to give away Darkseer that level 2, more or less, from this rotation, and actually, he'll get all 4 creeps. It will be level 2, so very unfortunate that they had to make this lane switch, because now that he's level 2, I don't know if they could have kept him out of lane fully, but they give it to him for free. Now it gets really hard to actually shut him down.
If you look at the tri-lane they have, it's not the best tri-lane they have to shut down the Darkseer. Darkseer can afford to stand in front of the creeps and use double Iron Shell to farm.
Yeah, it's just that support silencer. It's what can you really do with this hero in most cases? Curse of the Silent is great against some tri-lanes, but it's not going to do anything against a hero like Darkseer.
I'm surprised he's not standing up. He's still standing behind. He's not even trying to go up.
Yeah.
Dragon Knight was level 1 there before, and he used a Fire Breath on the creeps, so he should know there's only one disruption to stun him. There's no way he could have died in the lane.
Absolutely no way. Looking at the other 2 lanes, Kabu on the Clockwork, mid against Queen of Pain for DDC. DDC 2 and 3 to start. Kabu sitting 2 and 0, so not really a great start from either player, to be totally honest. Kabu, Bottle is online. As for the bottom lane, off lane Lifestealer, level 1 so far. Yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot, and Icy getting total free farm. What do you make of the overall trades? It seems like Rattlesnake are getting the better trade, especially considering how hard that some of their matchups could be.
I think it could have been a lot better. Oh, they're going in for bottom lane, but I don't think they can kill him.
They'll go in on Sag top lane as well simultaneously. He'll take some damage, but...
Oh, sorry. What I meant was top.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, it's not a lane where he should die unless he really overextends. Sag just shouldn't die here.
I think they could have gotten a lot better from the trade, because if the Darkseer would have went to be more aggressive, slightly a bit more aggressive in the second wave, he could have at least gotten his level 3, and the things would be a lot different. They have a farming Batrider in the jungle, then they have a level 3 Darkseer from the off lane, compared to Lifestealer, which he's getting level 3 now, but not as much farm as the Darkseer.
Instead, Luo has been slowed down a little bit, truth be told. He has been stacking this camp, and I mean, he's not doing horribly by any means, but he's not quite as efficient as he could be because he was forced to rotate all the way down through the enemy jungle.
There was also a sentry placed at a small camp by LGD.
Yeah, so he missed an opportunity to level up there. And now he'll get a triple stack. He can look to farm it. Has to stack the Napalm all the way up, but it's not really that bad of a start for Batrider. It's just not 100% optimal. I think, like you said, the Darkseer is the hero who's having a much slower start than what we expected.
Yeah, I actually thought he would have, because his opportunity is already over right now, because the DK is level 4. It's going to be very dangerous now if he tries to go up with the Shadow Demon. It was different before when the DK was level 1 and he was level 2, he had Surge. There's only one disruption to stop him.
So Winter, it looks like a very passive start to this game, which means we should look towards the mid-game. For LGD, I feel that getting an early Orchid is going to be essential, because they only have one stun. It's the Dragon Tail, and you can't really count a Global Silence to deal with a hero like Morphling all game long. So I imagine we'll see that, probably from the Queen of Pain, since I don't think Yao's farming that well. How else are they going to deal with Morphling? I just don't really see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. It will come down to the team fight coordination from the Global Silent and how they play and how the item choices of the heroes will progress. I think if you were to go for Orchid for the Queen of Pain, unless you have it extremely early, it will be much better for her to go for Hex this game because they don't have much stuns.
Of course, on the side of Icy, often we'll see that early Linked Sphere coming out, and that would be very potent against the Queen of Pain.
I think it's gonna be a good thing if he goes for the E-Blade build, because there's a Lifestealer and a Dragon Knight, both a lot of physical damage on him.
It would leave him pretty vulnerable. Top lane, they'll go in on Sag here. Can they get a full surround? They actually have a Dragon Tail as well. They'll throw it out immediately. This will be our first blood. Sag going down as he's very underleveled. 5 minutes in, he got a free level 2. he just didn't push at his advantage that hard, and now he pays.
Yeah, he didn't play as aggressive when he should have. He was playing aggressive at the wrong point there. There was no way he could have been so far up the lane just now because the DK already has his stun. Level 1, 3 Fire Breath. He's just gonna die. There's no way he'll escape the Disruption and the Dragon Tail.
And meanwhile, looking at LGD's offlane, Yao is level 5. And Yao is just not gonna die to this lane. Because if you ever go on him, you Frostbite him, he just rages out. He doesn't have to use that in advance because Crystal Maiden doesn't actually hit very hard. So LGD are basically getting, not free farm on their lifesteal, but a ton of levels and experience on a carry. And this is an offlane Darkseer who's level 2, getting absolutely nothing.
The last hit counter Darkseer is a bit higher, but he's gonna try to harass the CM a bit.
Yeah, Yao actually throwing out the open wounds and going for a few auto attacks, but probably wants to play a little more conservatively. The thing is, even if he doesn't get much farm in the lane, once he hits level 6, he could just jump inside the Queen of Pain and they could go hunting for kills.
Yeah, the lifestealer this game doesn't really have to be that farm because there's still a Dragon Knight and Queen of Pain. He just needs to survive the off lane, get some levels, which I think he's doing a very good job of it, knowing that the enemy lane doesn't have enough of lockdown to kill the lifestealer, and Rage is just going to allow him to survive regardless.
Despite the inefficiency of the Darkseer, Luol, not very inefficient. He's very efficient, I should say, not inefficient at all. He's already level 6, 6.5 minutes in, which is perfect considering that he missed that first small camp. So, and very early Blink Dagger coming for him. Looks like maybe even before the 10-minute mark or right around there.
Yeah, things would have been much better. The only thing they didn't do really well was the offlane Darkseer. Pretty much the rest of the lanes, they are doing a pretty decent job. Clockwork is expected to be behind the Queen of Pain because it's really difficult to lane a melee hero against the Queen of Pain. It's just very difficult.
Yeah, Kabu's getting the levels.
Yeah, as long as he gets the levels, and he needs to have a higher impact than the Queen of Pain in the mid game for his team.
As for that Queen of Pain, well, looking at LGD, they have 3 heroes that can dish out the damage. A safe lane Dragon Knight, Sylar just going for early treads bottle, Yao, that off lane Lifestealer, and the Queen of Pain. So when it heads towards late game, you might look at Rattlesnakes and say, well, they have the big advantage because they have the Morphlane, who is, by all counts, I think the hardest carry if this goes really late. But with 3 carries on the side of LGD, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, numbers will win you the games, LD.
Exactly.
And this is something Zenith like to do a lot. Having an off lane that is a carry that has a potential not to die easily in the lane. And although they don't give him much farm at the start, he'll just be able to catch up later. They ran like something like a Jug the last game.
Yeah,
well.
The Jug, the Lifestealer. I've even seen them run the Tinker on occasion. Although that's not very common.
Tinker is like there but in the jungle.
Yeah, he's not like really in the lane, but if you try and push the tower, he'll show up on March. The one concern for me is Lamb is just... I feel like all he's going to do is die in the mid game. And when you look at this hero pick, he's max Frostbite, which is good against Queen of Pain, but this hero is total food for Lifestealer, for Queen of Pain, for Dragon Knight. It's not going to offer nearly as much as a Shadow Demon or a Silencer.
Yeah, CM is very, very strong at level 2, but when you can't kill the lane hero like a Nyx in your lane, it's pretty much over. The strength of this hero is already pretty much over in the game. In the mid game fights, he doesn't contribute as much as the Shadow Demon does for his team.
He does give the mana. That's the one big thing, but ultimately that's not really that useful as the game goes later.
His biggest usage in the mid game is the freezing field. How is the player able to land a very good freezing field to deal a lot of damage? That spell is actually very, very sick if you use it properly.
It's actually, yeah, it's completely insane the amount of damage it can do, but there's a lot of heroes who can just blow the CM up if she ever tries to cast it in a fight. So we'll see if he can get one off. It's amazing.
You're saying Lamb needs a BKB, yeah?
I'm saying he needs a BKB. I tweeted at you about this winter, but IG has we've entered a new age. They now pool their supports. Smoke of Deceit was purchased for Faith's Bane. It actually failed horribly. That was the game versus DK where they smoke ganked 3 times and failed every single one. But the idea is there. Pull your supports and they'll pay you back later. So maybe we'll see giving that CM farm priority for her BKB, and then she'll pay you back later. I don't think so.
I get Horn Trash player to do that for us as well.
It's like man,
if we are
IG did it. IG did it. It's
no,
such
it's
an
like
easy argument.
we are laning against Bounty Hunter. Say, get your 3 last hits. Buy us a dust. We need the dust. Come on, you're the carry. You're farming the creeps. Get us the dust. We don't have cash for it.
I'm poor, and then he clicks on you and he sees you have like 500 gold. Shut up, Winter. Shut the hell up. So our Batrider has farmed up his or his Blink Dagger. Luo, all things considered, very fast farm.
Small gang. Yeah, this is actually what I've talked about the last time, where I can't remember who was the Batrider jungling. I said that the Batrider, if you jungle it properly, you have to get your dagger at 10 minutes.
And he could even have it before then if he didn't miss that one small camp. It might have been like 9 minutes. 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, it depends on your luck on what spawn. And if you look at the CS bot, mid lane has been dominated by Queen of Pain by actually a very huge margin. I didn't really expect it to be that huge.
This is big. They'll actually blink in and grab Sylar on the top lane. He's also got an Iron Shell. But there's your disruption. The Flame Break could be here. The stun on Lamb to start. Look at Lamb just melt already. Sylar's too tanky. I'm surprised they didn't go for Xiao. He actually broke the smoke. And here comes DDC. Looking for a potential counter gank. Morphling has even joined the fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised that the Morphling is even here.
Well, LGD has sent 5 heroes here, so I suppose it's not like Rattlesnake are losing a whole lot.
Yeah, but I have to agree, Dragon Knight wasn't the best target to jump on there.
And he had Shadow Demon next to him. Which I imagine is what you're about to say.
You have to kill the Shadow Demon. It's like if the carry is standing beside the Chen and you're trying to kill the carry and he just sends him home.
They also had Xiao 8. I think it was just tunnel vision from Luo, to be honest. Like, he just saw the DK, said, we're going DK. Tower is going to get hooked in by Kabu, not going to hit the wave on the back lines. Or Morphly trying to find an opening on Queen of Pain ult. That doesn't really do a thing. Kabu runs in. Will die, though. And now on the chase is Lua, burning down Xiao 8 while he tries to finish off Long DD, but he may get neither. He's bitten off more than he can chew. Now he must run. When it's all said and done, they lose the Clockwork, they lose the CM, they don't deny the tower. And Morphling wastes a ton of precious farming time. A big victory for LGD China.
Not very sure why they tried to fight there, LD.
No glyph.
Because they didn't have the lasso, because they wasted it before, and the Dux is only level 4 at 12 minutes.
I think it's just Rattlesnake and the tempo they're accustomed to, Winter. Every game we watch them, they're going for fights from level 1. They're continuing to fight all the way through the game. And unfortunately, this game, they just don't have the position or the levels to make it effective.
I don't think they could have even won the fight, even though you said that the Clockwork he hooked on the creep, but even if he latched on a hero, I don't think they would have still won the fight.
There's still a Shadow Demon there, and...
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't even a global silence. I guess that was the one thing. Maybe Rattlesnake saw that and said, we should take a fight now, because there's no global. But they didn't have Lasso. And as mentioned, that's a crucial spell for them to find these pickoffs. So the first Batrider Blink gank fails. The big fight top, not too effective, and generally when we look at a Batrider who gets an early blink in the jungle, you've weakened your lanes to do it. So you want to pay it back to your team by finding kills, and they haven't found those kills just yet.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you that you have to pay back your team when you give someone to farm the jungle and at the expense of your laning heroes. And if he doesn't pay it back, like with a few kills, it's gonna be very difficult for them to come mid-game.
They're ganking bottom right now, and they have the level 6 on Silencer. Oh boy, this could be big. And by the way, it's going to be a Shadow Blade DK. Pinoy Sylar in the house. Icy's just used his waveform. He'll eat an open wounds. He will eat a stun as well. He is so dead with Soul Catcher. There is no way, and they don't even have to blow the global for that.
Yeah,
great kill.
They don't even have to use anything, and he's not going for the Ethereal Blade build. He's going to rush a BKB.
How do you feel about this build?
It's a very sort of situational item to go as Morphling as your first item, because if you go for a Blacking Bar first, your farm is very slow. Unlike if you go for a Linken's first.
And your killing power isn't that high.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. Oh, top lane.
Suddenly DDC, haste turn on him. He'll also get a tower deny top. A big death and another death on the Darks here, who is level 5 at 14 minutes in. Winter, he could have been level 3 at like 1 minute in. He's level 5 at 15.
Yeah, that was a very big mistake there by him at the start, not going a bit more aggressive where he could have done it. And I was saying that the Morphling item build, if you go for Ethereal Blade, sure, it's the same thing as if you go for a Blacking Bar first. You don't have the regeneration from the Lincoln Sphere, and you can't farm as fast. But the main difference is if you have the Ethereal Blade, you can get extra cash from sniping off the supports. But if you go for a Black King bar, it's just purely for you to survive in the fight. And if you look at LGD's lineup, there's a lot of physical damage. So BKB doesn't exactly allow you to survive the fight. If the silencer just times his ultimate after you use his BKB, you're gonna be still in a lot of trouble.
And generally when you get the BKB, it's to win a prolonged fight. I mean, you want to use that 10-second BKB charge and then over the course of the fight, just outlast and outdamage them. But when you're up against Lifesteal, Dragonite, and Queen of Pain, are you really going to outlast these heroes? These are like, these heroes have stamina, baby. I mean, they're not easy kills.
I really think going for the Lincolns or Ethereal Blade would have been the better choice. Because, as you mentioned at the start of the game, they have only one stun to hit you, the Dragon Tail. If you have Lincolns, although there's still Shadow, the Poison from the Queen of Pain and the Slow from the Lifestealer to dispel the Lincolns, but it's still a very good spell to block.
At the end of the day, if you're a good Morphling player, you'll have a Replicate up, and if you're not stunned, you're replicating out. On top of that, against a Shadow Demon, you just want to blow him up before you can disrupt whoever you're initiating upon. Ethereal Blade allows you to do that. Well, enough about the item choice, because now we're going to see a 4-hero smoke gank headed towards the bottom lane. Sylar going Pinoy style, as mentioned, going for that early Shadow Blade. I was making videos about this about a year ago, guys. A lot of people were flaming the build, saying it's bad. It is not, especially with the new Shadow Blade. Very legit. And it gives them a crucial initiating stun.
Yeah, it's a plus item to have for especially a Dragonite. CM is gonna die.
Hello, Lamb. Goodbye, Lamb.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, support CM.
This is the food. This is the food you're talking about.
Chuan is a little upset he wasn't invited to this game, I think. Well, they're going to take an easy tier 1 bottom, and where will the trade be is the question. We'll see a smoke up on Lua. They may look to even fight this, but Crystal Maiden TPing into the tower will be another death for her if they do. They may try, though. They may try, Witzer. They're going to, but once again, the tower goes down. No glyph was used, and now they're fighting without a tower. Lamb, as mentioned, dies immediately. In comes Kabu. A beautiful hook, but just disrupted, and then they're all going to walk away. And Rattlesnake just keep on choosing fights that don't seem to fit. Our Bat Rider's lurking in the trees. He'll throw out the napalm, but he doesn't even want to go in. They want to back. Meanwhile, Bat Rider running out of his Firefly. He will actually be forced to escape while the open wounds comes on Sag, who now will eat a Shadow Strike, a stun, cannot surge, cannot escape, will fall. Icy forced to walk away.
He searched his teammate already, unfortunate for him.
Yeah. I can't believe... Even if they'd glyphed that, I think they still would have lost the fight, to be honest. But no glyph and no tower. I mean, really, that's just already an Orchid. 18 minutes in, goodbye Morphling. No BKB in sight. He is going to be total food if he ever gets caught.
It's not only goodbye Morphling. Everyone will die.
Yeah, it's just that the Morphling's the one that normally you can't kill. That's why it's really good for him. But you're right. It will work on everyone.
When the hardest hero on your team is dying to the Orchid combo, then you know you're screwed.
Yeah, you know you're very sad at that point. Blink towards the top rune. DDC gonna pick up a haste turn here. And LGD, I think... I mean, it's 8-0. They're not quite as far ahead as you might expect. They're up by 5k gold, 5k experience, but it's not really about the numbers in this game. It's about the state of the game. Where LGD is on the dire side, they have easier access to Roshan. They have all their early towers up. They have good items progression on their supports. Xiaowei now getting a mech. The Shadow Blade complete on Sylar. If they win another fight, they go Roche. And Yao has an armlet as well. So, good core items up. Nobody is a liability for this team. Even an Urn on their Shadow Demon. And if it goes later, it's not like Rattlesnake is going to have it then. So, dare I say it, Rattlesnake is in a pickle. And it's a very, very uncomfortable pickle to be in.
And it's going to be a very sad game for Lamb.
Yes, the Godzilla of the International 2 is now going to become a little lizard. A little water creature. We'll see a blink, a silence, and he will not get off his morph, which means he may not escape. Looks for a second there like he might have a shot, but then Lifestealer actually started hitting him, and down he went.
The Lifestealer is not hitting as hard as he's supposed to be because of the lack of items.
But that's okay.
He's placed in the off lane. Yeah, it's okay. They have 3 fat heroes. This is actually a very different style LGD is playing right now. They're more focused on owning their lanes and getting more farm on the whole team.
It's actually kind of IGS.
Yeah, they're realizing that the old style they've been using is not really working in the new meta game anymore. And I think more and more teams will be using this style of play,
And
getting rich as a team in general.
And I think it's what a lot of people have been saying they want to see out of DK too.
Yep, I have to totally agree with that statement. I'm just waiting for the time for them to play 3 carries.
I think it's actually going to be terrifying. Oh, we'll go in now. Stylar starts with the Shadow Blade. He'll find Luan. No initiation for you. No lasso for you. Global thrown out. I don't know that it was needed there. But hey, 2 kills. You win a big fight. You could go Roche if you'd like.
We talked about how deadly the Crystal Maiden ultimate was before the games. During the game,
GG.
And he dropped a global silence just to stop the ultimate.
Xiaowei hating on his fellow support. He says, if I'm going to be a support, I'm going to have some fun doing it. I'm going to pick on that poor CM. And on that note, Rattlesnake, they got thrashed. They got smacked around. They got clobbered, and they will lose game 1 in the best of 3. Winter, they are 1 game away from elimination. If they win this series, they're first place in Group A. But if they lose this next game, they are 4th. They are last, and they go home. That's a lot of pressure.
It's all or nothing for them.
It really is all or nothing for them. And based on this game 1, I feel like you can't put it all on the Darkseer, but that certainly didn't help. And then the fact that that first gank top didn't work, some questionable team decisions as well, taking that big fight at the tower with no glyph once the lasso was on cooldown, bringing Morphling into the fights that early, rushing a BKB. I mean, that wasn't, he wouldn't have finished anything in the end, but just felt like Rattlesnake, a lot of questionable decisions for a team that's been making so many good ones coming into this match.
Yeah, they're still not as stable as like teams like IG or LGD, but I think they're gonna bounce back really strong the next game. This is nothing to what we've seen Rattlesnake did in the past couple of games.
The one scary thing is it's a new LGD, so they're a little bit less predictable. At least they've shown that to be the case in game 1. Guys, thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned. This is a best of 3. Currently, LGD China taking the 1-0 lead. If they win the next game, they secure not only 2nd place for themselves, but 3rd place for their international brethren. Stay tuned. Game 2 with LD and Winter on Beyond the Summit coming up right after this.